one number changed everything for the Smithville and West Lincoln real estate market in June 2026, and it wasn't the price. Months of inventory, which is the number that determines whether sellers or buyers hold the power in the market, went from 5.5 to 8.3 months in West Lincoln, and it went from 3.8 to 6.6 months of inventory in Smithville, all in just 1 month. Now that's a staggering number, and it's just an indication as to where the market went, and it's the story behind the numbers that we're gonna go over today. I'm David Hildebrand, your Smithville and West Lincoln real estate agent, and we're gonna dive into all of these numbers today, comparing Smithville and West Lincoln, both year over year, month over month, and then doing a side-by-side comparison of the two markets at the end, which tells a more nuanced story than the data presents. You're gonna wanna stick around for that comparison. Now, let's get into the data and see where the market is in West Lincoln and Smithville. All right, so this is the West Lincoln and Smithville monthly market report. We're gonna go through it now, and we're just gonna take a look at the numbers and the data and what it presents. So I'm gonna skip over the region overview, and we're gonna get directly into where our month over month data is here. So for West Lincoln, we always go through all of the data points and just see where the percentage changes and what the market is showing us month over month. So first thing we're gonna look at is the benchmark sale price, which was at $841,300 in May, and that actually went down to $834,900 in June, just a 0.7% decrease. So not a lot, but it is still showing that the market is going down. Now, months of inventory is the number that we were talking about, where we've seen a huge surge in that number month over month, from 5.5 months of inventory in May, which is in balanced market territory, up to 8.3 months, which is well over the 6-month mark that pushes the West Lincoln market into buyer market territory, a 50% increase there. Now we go to homes sold. We see that there were 16 homes sold in May, which makes sense given that it was the spring market. That went down to 12 in June as we entered the summer market, a 25% decrease. And then new listings is another statistic that I'm actually surprised to see this number. Normally we would see more new listings in May, but we only saw 24 new listings in West Lincoln in May, and that number jumped up to 42 new listings in June, showing that there's a lot more inventory on the market. That's a 75% jump, which shows that if you combine it with the months of inventory, that there's just a lot more on the market. And so at the current rate that things are selling, it would take longer to clear the current inventory based on the amount of new inventory that we've been getting. Active inventory, no surprise, went up as well, seeing as that we have so many more new listings, from 88 in May to 100 in June, a 13.6% increase. Now, cumulative days on market, actually the days on market stayed the same in West Lincoln, so it's exactly the same month over month. And then another place where we saw a little bit of a shift towards buyers is in the sale to list ratio. So sellers were getting 96% of asking in May. That number dipped almost down to 93% in June, a 2.7% decrease. Now, as we shift over to year over year for West Lincoln, the numbers also just show where the market's gone over the past year, from June 2025 to June 2026. The benchmark sale price was all the way up at $900,600, which has dropped 7.3% in a full year. And then months of inventory was at 5.9 months in June last year, up to 8.3 in this June, which is a 40% increase. Now, as we go to homes sold, that stayed relatively the same, 14 to 12, and then new listings, there was 30 in June of last year, 42 in June of this year, so actually an increase in new listings as well, as active inventory is up from 82 to 100 active listings. Now, cumulative days on market, things were sitting nice at 54 days on market last June. Those are up 16.7% to 63 days on market in this June. Now, we also saw a decrease year over year in sale to list ratio, from 95% of asking in June to 93.4%, June 2025 to 93.4% in June 2026. So in terms of the big picture of the West Lincoln market, we see that this at the bottom here is that the trajectory has shifted meaningfully over the past year. not in the direction that sellers have been hoping for, with a 7.3% decrease in benchmark price, as well as more inventory on the market, which shows that buyers still have the leverage. We did see more of a balanced market in the spring, but as we head into the slower summer months, it does appear that the market has been shifting back to buyers as they have more to choose from, and there's more inventory available with not enough buyers to scoop them all up. All right, now let's shift over to Smithville. We're gonna skip over the spotlight and we're gonna go straight to month over month. Smithville saw a 0.7% decrease in benchmark sale price as well. These numbers are going to be less because they're in town and don't have any rural properties or more expensive farmland, so the numbers are going to be lower. Months of inventory is where we really saw a huge spike in Smithville from 3.8, which was actually in seller market territory in May, up to 6.6, which is just into buyer market territory. So we skipped an entire balanced market from May to June. That's up 73.7% month over month. Now, as we go to homes sold, less homes sold, more new listings came on the market, 14 to 19, and then active inventory actually only went up by one listing from 45 to 46, showing that the inventory is still getting scooped up. But cumulative days on market went from 51 days in May, all the way up to almost 80 days in June. So again, that summer market has hit where things are taking longer to sell. And we also saw sellers take a pretty big hit in the sale to list ratio price, going from 96.1% in May all the way down to 92.7% in June, a 3.4% decrease month over month. So generally, sellers are putting less money in their pockets as we compare May to June, and also more inventory has hit the market and it's taking longer for that inventory to sell. Now, as we look year over year, the statistics are very similar to where West Lincoln is. Benchmark price has gone down from $716,600 to $665,200, which is a 7.2% decrease year over year from June 2025 to June 2026, which is very similar to the just over 7% that we see in West Lincoln. Now, months of inventory has gone up 61%. From 4.1 months of inventory to 6.6 in June, just this past June. Homes sold took a pretty big dip. 15 were sold last June, 7 were sold in this June. And then as we look at new listings, that went up from 15 to 19, which is a 35.7% increase. And active inventory is also up 40% from last June. Cumulative days on market has actually gone up 88% from 42 days on market last June to 79 in June of 2026. And then sale to list ratio went down from 95.3 to 92.7, which is a 2.6% decrease. So as we look at the big picture year over year, similar to West Lincoln, Smithville kind of sits in that same boat where we're seeing that sellers have lost leverage as in terms of where benchmark prices are at. It's gone down a little over 7%. And then also we see that they're getting less money for their homes at 92.7% sale to list ratio. Inventory is up and cumulative days on market is also up, showing that all market indicators are pointing towards favorable buyer market statistics and that buyers have the leverage as we head into the summertime. So as we look to Smithville and West Lincoln, we're gonna compare the two and see where things are going. So as we look to the benchmark price, we see that there's actually like over $150,000 difference between the two markets in terms of benchmark price. But as I said it earlier, there's pretty much an equal decrease in the market of 7% year over year between the two markets, despite that price difference between the two, which shows that it's not just a Smithville issue and it's not just a West Lincoln issue, that the broader area is kind of declining at similar rates, regardless of whether it's a town or the entire part of the region. That the market has gone down 7% in both of these areas is interesting. Now, months of inventory at 8.3 for West Lincoln over 6.6 in Smithville. Seems like West Lincoln would be more of a soft market, but then as we look at cumulative days on market, West Lincoln is actually at 63 days and Smithville sits at 79 days. So months of inventory isn't the only statistic showing where things are at. Days on market also helps with that. So even though Months of inventory sits higher at 8.3 in West Lincoln. Things are still selling relatively quickly at 63 days on market in West Lincoln. Whereas even though months of inventory is lower in Smithville, we are seeing that things are taking over 2 months to sell on average. And then as we look to sale to list ratio, West Lincoln's also doing slightly better in that area as well, sitting at 93.4% and Smithville at 92.7%. But both of those markets did take a hit from where we were sitting in May. Now, if you want the full market report, including all of my insights into the market each and every month from now moving forward, you can get a hold of that. It's absolutely free. You just have to click the link in the description below and I will set you up on that so you receive that each and every month. And if you ever want to talk to me directly about the market or about making a move to Smithville or West Lincoln, I would be happy to jump on a call with you. You can call me directly at 905-353-5149 and we can talk over anything that you're looking to talk over with regards to real estate. So let's jump into what this means for buyers and what this means for sellers. Buyers, the market data is showing that leverage is being handed to you on a silver platter right now. Typically, we see that the summer months are slower and we're seeing that that's already started in June. Active inventory has jumped up as well as cumulative days on market. And we see that sellers are taking much less in June than they were in May as we looked at the sale to list price ratio. So if you're looking to buy, I would anticipate that there will be another surge in September. So the months of July and August could be a very good time to buy in Smithville and West Lincoln if you're looking to use that leverage to buy a home for great value. Now, if you're a seller, price is king. You need to price your home for where the market is, not where it was a year ago. We see that active inventory is creeping up, days on market is up, and sellers, you're taking less and less from where you're originally asking for, and buyers, no. So this market is not a market to guess on the price. You need somebody that is local and has local knowledge, and that's me. So call me before you list so that you can get the right number for your home and we can establish a strategy that's gonna get your home sold before all the other houses that are on the market. I want to thank you guys for watching again this month's market update. Again, you can totally reach out to me at any point if you have any questions about West Lincoln, Smithville, the real estate market, making a move, and what it means for you and your family. Again, you can click the link in the description below to get a hold of that free monthly market report, and you can call or text me at 905-353-5149 to talk over any of your real estate needs. Now, if you're thinking about moving to Smithville or West Lincoln and you want to know what the pros and cons are of living in the area, I did a full video here talking about the pros and the cons and what it means to live in Smithville and West Lincoln. You're going to really enjoy that video. I'll see you in that one.